Hello, I'm Chris, this is Gross Models, and welcome to stage 15 of building the Ecto-1 from Ghostbusters. This is another part that we've done previously, but it's the other side of it, so we've got to do it, so I might as well do it and film it, and we'll see how well it goes together. It's been a little while since I did the other one, and I've done other cars in between. I've been doing the Kit Knight Rider one, and it's different. So we'll see. I'm probably going to get very, very confused, but you know, we'll muddle our way through. We've got a whole plethora of screws again. We need EM screws, which are those ones there. At the moment, we need 2 of those, so I should just get 2 of those out down here. I've put the parts up above so I can build next to me down here, and we'll hopefully get everything all working on camera and working properly as it is. So we need this part and that one, which is marked with an R because it's the one that goes on the right. That's going in there, held in place with one of these screws either side. Now, if I remember correctly, these actually screw into these parts, not the part in the middle. Maybe both. So yeah, that actually screws into there. So what I'm going to do is get one in either side, but not coming all the way through. And the plan is that once they start going in, it should be easier. Going in and backing back out again. Yeah, so they're not actually going all the way through as yet. But let me make them go in a bit further and then come back out, because that strips the paint off the inside of the part. Makes the screw easier to put in to begin with. So that's going in there, and that's being held in place just about there. So if I can line that up about there, then I should be able to fairly easily put a little bit of tightness behind both sides of that, which will hold it in place. If I get it lined up just right, should be there. Yeah, so that's moving. So now I need to tighten these up. And even with them being very, very tight, hopefully, it will still mean that the part in the middle will still turn freely. Because you need that for part of the suspension, if I remember properly. We need to fit next the little plastic part. There we go, that's nice and tight in there, and that is still very, very wobbly, which is fine. We need to fit that with a GP screw. P because it's going into plastic. And there's only one of those left, so that will be a spare bag. So I'll move that out of the way so I don't have to worry about it anymore. So this is going, if I get it the right way up, it's that way up, and this is on the top into that little locating divot there. And the screw obviously goes in through the other side. So holding that in place, lining that up, hopefully getting that in. I can feel it, it's actually already turning that bit, so I need to make sure I hold that, because that's what you're tightening it into, not the metal. So that is going through there, holding that in place, just like that. Right, next up, step 2, we're doing the same thing, but to a different part. We're doing that and that. It doesn't matter which way up that piece goes. That's going into there. Again, doesn't matter which way up, because it's all going to be messed around with. EM screws again, so 2 more of those coming out of the bag. One on each side. Again, I'm going to do this without the part in the middle. Make sure you get it lined up properly. I say turn it around, and then just a little bit of a back turn to it will loosen it up, free it up, and make it go in quite nice, quite lovely. You could add some oil to it, and a lot of people have been adding oil to these metal screws going into metal parts. Personally, I'd rather not. If you need to lubricate a screw thread, then there's always the chance that oil and lubrication is going to stop the thread from working as it should. You need friction in a screw thread for it to work. So you don't want that screw to loosen itself off at any time, really. So I'd rather have it in there gripping as nature intended. That seems a little stiff, but I think that's just because it's, yeah, it's loosening up in turning it. So I think that's just the friction of the painted parts and things holding it together. So that one tightens down in there, and the other side I can also now tighten up. There we go. Yeah, that's freed up in there. That's fine. That's that. Guess what? More EM screws. I should really look ahead to the next part of the same part, if you know what I mean. Figure B of step whatever it is. I'm going to put that screw back in there. I'm going to be using it again in a minute. I know, I don't doubt. But to begin with, this part needs to go in there. Now, this one does matter which way up it goes, so you've got to make sure that's that way up with the shaped flange up that side. So I'm going to do it again, because it seemed to work so well last time. I shall put the screw in first. In and loosen, and in and loosen, and in and loosen, and in and loosen. Not bothering going all the way through, but enough so it's going to start gripping the, or not gripping so much as just going through into the middle part there. In and loosen, and in and loosen. Let's tie that back out again. Still about there. Right, now make sure, double check you're getting it the right way up. That one's got to be that way around, and that's going to go in there just like that. If that's sticking out just that little bit. So let's tie that just a little bit further out, so there's nothing to get in the way there, and then we can put it back in. Enough to hold, and go around and do the other side again. Enough to hold. Now these builds, as you're aware no doubt by now, this is pack number 6, I believe. I will go through and have a look through the magazine, but because it's one magazine per pack rather than per issue, this is stage 15, but in this pack it's 15, 16, 17 and indeed 18. I think it's in stage 18 that looks like the shortest of the 4 stages. So at that stage I'll go through, have a look through the rest of the magazine, because I know you like to see it. Right, now we're fitting the arms to the frame. I conveniently have already read ahead. I know it's cheating, but I've read ahead. I've got the frame ready. This is going onto there. Again, these 2 posts go into there. I remember that bit from last time. And the giant spring goes in the middle there, doesn't it? So that goes in there. HM screws are holding that in place. So let me get 2 of those out. And this is obviously going in from the other side. So you've got to hold that there while you're turning it all over, being wary of everything else. You've got all the other parts collected from last time on there as well, some of which may well be a little bit delicate. So as the build progresses, pay more attention to the parts that you've already got attached, because you don't want to be causing damage and problems down the line with that. So I've got both of those in. Now I'm just going to go back and tighten them both up. This needs to be nice and tight and secure. You don't need any wobbleness in there. So that's that on there. Again, being careful of the parts. Look, see, I've got to be more careful of the parts. Then let's see, I've got this, that's that way round now, according to the picture. And we're going to be using those parts to hold those parts in place, using IM screws, which are these ones. A little bit meatier, a little bit heavier screws, and there are 4 of them to go in on place on this. Now these do have a directionality, and you can see obviously on there one step is lower than the other, so it's easy to tell which way around they're going to go. It's going to be like that, but that needs to go over the top of it, and it needs to go that way up. These will go over the little steps in there, on that, like that, and like that, with one each of these IM screws through each bit, holding it together just like we did over the other side. However long ago that was, I really don't have any memory of which issue number that was. This is exactly the same, it's just flipped 90 degrees or 180 degrees. It's the other side. You know it's the other side. You can see it. It's there. It's the other side. So this is figure D, tightening up these. Once they're all in, it's all lined up, you can go back and tighten them up at your own leisure. But I shall do that here now. Step number 3. So once we've done that, we can have a look at step 4, which has got to be putting the spring in, isn't it? It must be. You've got to put the spring in soon. The spring goes in, and that sort of keys in place, doesn't it? And then you get this extra, the wheel assembly part needs to go on there. I think, I can't tell, it's over the page. I need to turn the page to get to that bit. And I haven't done that yet. I haven't cheated, I haven't looked ahead. I looked ahead a little bit, but not very far. So that's there. Let's turn the page then and see. No, we're not doing the spring. Assembling the brake drum, obviously. First, the spring goes in last. So this I can move over to one side briefly because we are assembling the brake drum, which we're going to be using that, and that. Some EM screws and some HP screws as well. I need 2 EMs like that, and HP because it's going to be holding the plastic bits together. 1, 2, 3 of those. Only 1 left in there, so that's going to be spare. 2 of them, that's probably spare, but I don't know. So this is going through into that bit. Yes, and those 2 holes there line up with those 2 holes there, and that is what holds that together with the EM screws. We're going through the plastic bit into the metal, hence the M. One there, and that one there. Lined up properly so I can go ahead and tighten those both up. And the other side. There we go, right, and then that goes over the top there. Which way around? I've got a picture of it there with that and that across the top. Looks good to me. It seems to snap into location. It's not turning on its own. So these holes are obviously lining up as they should. 1, 2, and 3. That's that. Back tighten all these up again. Then I need a JM screw to hold this in place on there. That looks like that one. Again, another bigger meteor screw. 2 in the packet, so 1 to use, 1 to keep for spare. And this is going onto there. That way up. That's going through there into there. Okay, so that should probably just fall through that hole, yep. And then that tightens into that bit. Like that. Position it round so I can actually get an angle on it so I can tighten it properly and securely. Looking good to me. It's still wobbling around a little bit in there. I think that could do with being a little bit tighter. And the other side's got a little bit of wobble to it as well, so that's as tight as that gets. And it's still moving around on there. Let's check. Can't tell if that's wobbling around on there again. Let's try tightening it a little bit further, just to make sure. No, yeah, I can get more turns in that. Trick is definitely lining it up and going backwards again. That's now much tighter on there. I'm happier with that. Good. Right, now we need to fit the shock absorber. So let's see, which way around have we got that now? We've got that that way round, and that's opening like that. That's going around there. It doesn't matter what that does because that's on the outside. So the spring sits in there. That's nice and easy. I like that bit. Figure A is opening it up. Figure B is putting that in. Figure C is doing something over here. With putting another screw through that. Right, so that's using an IM screw again. Again, did we use? I'm sure we used these before. All the letters blur into one. Not entirely certain. Right, so what we've got to do now, ignoring those two pieces for now, this goes in there and holds the spring in place. While the spring is being held in place, we need to attach this piece to that piece. So we need to compress it, line it up, hold it compressed, and get that screw in there, with that being lined up with nothing but hopes and dreams. Oh, that felt like that located in place a little bit. So I'll still keep that compressed. Yeah, that's lined up in there. It's not tightened yet, obviously. So let's get that to a more comfortable screwing position. Get that in again. Tighten it, loosen it a bit. Tighten it, loosen it a bit. Until that doesn't move anymore. So that wobbles like that. That wobbles a bit like that, but not yet, because I think that needs to be more firmly affixed. Now we need to use this, which goes through there. Yes, there is a bayonet bit in there that lines up with that slot through there, and then that's the tricky bit. We've got to line that up there with an HM screw. So let's leave it that way out, because otherwise it will fall out. Get out an HM screw, get it on there. Right, this was the bit that I had fun trying to get that lined up to that. It turns out it was actually much easier than I thought. All you've got to do is a little bit of tension on it, and then it should basically line itself up, which it has. And it won't rotate because of that bayonet piece. So we can just tighten that down nice and secure, and that should make that, yes, made that looser because it's taken all the tension off of that front open. So now I've done that, I can go back and make sure these are tightened. I'm going to do that the other side. I don't remember if I went back and tightened the other side after I put that piece in. So I might as well. That side I know is tight because of that. But that side I think I can probably, yeah, get another half turn out of that. There we go. That is that. Now we need to fix the last piece, which is going to go exactly the same as that one did on there, but on the other side. So what does it say to do first? It says to affix it to this rod first with an IM. No, HM. Use your eyes and look at the letters and get them right. An HM through that. Let's put that one back in there. Don't need that one yet. I probably won't because it's the last one in the packet. That can go in there. That can go over in the spares pile. I need a KM for the other side, which is the one with the giant washer on it. So let's get that out ready. I think that's the end of the screws, because that seems to be the end of the part. So this is going in there. Yeah, this needs to attach from this side. Look, we're still doing 15. You don't need to try and escape yet. Yeah, that's going to go over there like that. So this is going in there like that. So we need to be able to move this out of the way, so we can actually get through there, into there. Is that. Then that will go into there, and it's held on the other side with this screw that I've already prepared from last time. Well, from this time, but you know what I mean. So that's going in there. It's got a nice big washer on there to hold it all secure. Support the other side, tighten that down. And that should be just about that. So get that tightened down nicely. There we go. That should be the wheels and the steering linked up. So something will be able to join onto that from the top here. There's a couple of post screws holes there. and that will join up the steering so we can steer. Nice. That is stage 15 completed. There we go. This is what your assembled piece should look like. It does. It looks pretty much like that. Except for, I mean, well, even the colours, because it's all one colour anyway. So yeah, I'm happy with that. That's working. It's coming together. That was that. I shall see you very shortly for stage 16. Thank you very much for watching. Stay safe, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye for now.